Nice shirt, though. Thank you. All right. I think you can hear me now. Let's see. Maybe. Nice shirt, though. Thank you. Okay, good. I guess the audio's working now. All right. I can hear you now. Cool. All right. Well, that computer's garbage. It's not working. All right. Let me just pull up a couple things here. And we're going to get going. It's exciting. It's exciting. We got sound. And I think we're actually streaming. Let's see. So I'm on X. This is the first time I'm on X. Oh. First time on X. And of course it looks like garbage. But let's see. Let's see if I can hear myself on that. Can I hear myself? On the X. Okay. Yeah, cool. All right. So I can hear myself on X. I can hear myself on YouTube. And I know this is annoying. This is annoying. I know. Oh, let me just check if we're on all three in 1080. Let's see. Oh. In 1080. Okay, all right. Keep it going. It's exciting. Oh. Okay, good. Hey, it's working. We're working. All right. It is February 7th, 2024. And this right here, this is what I feel like the stream is. Now, right now, you can see the bar of the computer that I'm doing the graphics for. Echo. Well, the echo could have. Oh, you know what? I don't know. The echo could be from this computer when I was just testing it. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Yeah, don't mess with Texas. I'm still supporting Texas. Okay, let me. Some sound. 810. I think there shouldn't be echo. No echo here. All right. Well, hey, let's get going. So I've kind of figured out now how I can apparently I can stream in 1080 HD to all the platforms. So that's working. Yay. I don't think obviously this right here, I don't like the fact that this is showing up and I can't figure out how to get rid of it. It's not one thing, it's another. But anyway, let's just do the show, shall we? I know you're like, Tom, you could have just done that from the beginning. Well, perhaps. Yeah, it looks like a tsunami brewing behind my window. That's pretty much it. This is it's crazy back here. Yeah. So let's get to the monologue. Let me do this and we'll get right into it. Here's the bumper. Deindividualization, individuation. Should have practiced this word. I should have practiced this word, but I didn't. Nope. There we go. D. Individuation. De-individuation. Say that 10 times fast. It's like the moment you step into a crowd and suddenly you lose your sense of self faster than a politician loses their moral compass. Picture this. You're at a concert surrounded by thousands of screaming fans. Suddenly, you feel like you're another voice in the chorus, screaming along with the best of them. Your individuality, poof, gone like a, I don't know. I left that blank thinking I would come up with something better, and I obviously didn't get back to finishing that in my monologue. So anyway. What would that be? Gone like remembering to finish the monologue. Anyway, here's the kicker. De-individuation isn't just about losing yourself in the crowd. It's about losing your inhibitions, your sense of right and wrong, your very humanity. It's like something hit the off switch on your conscience and suddenly anything goes. And let me tell you, folks, when anything goes, things can get pretty wild. We're talking riots, looting, and a level of online trolling that would make a middle school bully blush. It's the Wild West out there, only with more hashtags and fewer tumbleweeds. But hey, before we start painting de-individuation as the bad guy, let's not forget that it's also responsible for some of humanity's greatest achievements. I'm talking about revolutions, protests, and moments of collective unity that send shivers down your spine. So, what's the moral of the story? Well, maybe we need to find a balance between losing ourselves in the crowd and staying true to who we are. Because while de-individuation can be a powerful force for change, it can also be a slippery slope into chaos and madness. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, best censored commentary news show live right now. Blame on. All right, so we're not getting the music, huh? Okay. Well, we may not have the music, but for the first time, I'm actually streaming on Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, all at the same time in HD. From my laptop. So yes, gone like a fart in the wind. That was my original thought, and then I'm just like, I don't want to use that term. Let me think of something else, and I just didn't. Oh well. Anyway, but we're talking about de-individuation, and there's a lot to it. Let me tell you a little bit more about it here. There we go. It's the erosion of individual identity and autonomy in favor of conformity to group norms or authority. And it occurs when individuals perceive themselves as interchangeable within a collective context. And often this is driven by social pressures or cultural forces. This phenomenon can have profound impacts on personal autonomy and group cohesion within societies and organizations. So that's kind of the idea behind de-individualism. You know the word. You know what I'm trying to say here. Damn. Anyway, that was the big idea for today. Not a great start. But I got a number of stories to get to today. This will be fun. Fun to get to the stories today. I tell you, one of the things I'm sharing some kind of chaos going on in my own life. So I'm leaving for Argentina in a week from today, actually. I'll be on the plane. And I'm going down there for a month. And I have kind of been hit with realizing that I can't see. And I think, based on everything that I can tell, I may have cataracts. I got a referral from my doctor, and I can't get into an ophthalmologist until after I come back. Originally, when I was calling around, they were like, how's August 15th or something? I'm like, no. So I don't even know what's wrong with my eyes, but I can't read the computer anymore. I can put on my reading glasses just to read the computer. And it that just kind of came on. And so it's causing me a lot of anxiety and stress. Just because I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just can't see. So that's a little behind the scenes of what I'm dealing with. But we got, and I just wanted to share that with you because it may be like, boy, Tom, you don't seem to have your shit together right now. What's going on? All these streams are garbage. That's one of the reasons why. I'm trying to sort all this out, and I'm having a hard time seeing anything. So yeah. So anyway, we got a number of stories to get to today. The first one, we'll talk about Tucker. Now I'll play the bumper. Let's see if this works, and you can hear it through this little headphone. How about that? Because if I could, oh, it's this mouse. Here we go. Yeah, so here we go. Oh, you know what? I decided not to actually write out a piece for this. I'll just tell you what's happening with Tucker Carlson. So he's in Moscow, and I find this is frustrating. So he's in Moscow. He interviewed Putin, and the coverage of this is insane. I have a video clip that you can't hear. Let's see. I can dictate it maybe. I don't know. But yeah, here's Abby Phillips over on C&N. Do that. No, here we go. This is Abby Phillips over on C&N. Let's check out what she has to say. So it starts off, and Tucker says, "Hey, I'm here in the streets of Moscow. I'm here to interview Putin." And Abby Phillips starts off by saying, "Tucker Carlson is lying to you." I can't do this for the whole video. I'm sorry that the audio's not working. I'll keep working on it. But the coverage of this story is absolutely insane. We see that there are EU members that are talking about doing a travel ban on Tucker Carlson for daring to interview Putin. CNN went through a list of things that they're just straight up lying about. They're just Tucker said that, nobody in the corporate press, Western press, has bothered interviewing Putin since the start of the war. And they say, well, that's a lie. We put in requests to interview him. But is it a lie if if no one's interviewed him and he says that no one's interviewed him? Not really a lie. But it's wrong. I think that's tough. Apothecary John says Tucker's interview with Putin is meant to drop at 3 p.m. Pacific. That's 6 p.m. on the East Coast. I'm definitely going to check that out. Thank you for the suggestion with the castor oil. I will check that out as well. Actually, I do have some of that. Why, if you were if you were Putin and there were a TV network that lied about you every single day and drummed up a total conspiracy theory that you knew wasn't true because they're talking about you, okay? The whole Russiagate thing is fake news, and the American corporate media repeated it all day long on all their networks. Why would Putin agree to do an interview with a network that did that? I certainly wouldn't. Do you think that Biden would agree to do? Well, Biden doesn't do interviews with anyone. Who are we kidding, right? But would an American president sit down for an interview with, say, Iranian state TV? Probably not. In the same way, I hope you understand that the corporate news is American state TV. They're not, if they're just repeating conspiracy theories drummed up by the State Department or the DNC, if they're just repeating them all the time, I understand why Putin would not want to be interviewed on CNN. It makes total sense. Why would you be interviewed by someone that lies about you every single day? So, yeah. But before everyone gets into casting, I've seen people calling Tucker Carlson a traitor, right? You know what happens if you're a convicted traitor, right? You know what the sentence is. The sentence for that is death. People are calling for the death of Tucker Carlson because he dared to go over to Moscow to interview President Putin. I'm looking forward to this interview. I do find the coverage of it hilarious, and I will have more on that in the next show after I do more testing and figuring out how to get the damn audio to work. But that is, and I encourage you to do that. Just do a search for Tucker Putin and look how CNN covers it. Look how NBC covers this story. It's all insane. They're all losing their minds. And I think because for the most part, when you will see interviews or when, like, if you go to CNN, you will never see Putin talking. They will never cover Putin speaking and giving a translation of what he's saying. What instead they do is they say, oh, Putin said this, and we'll tell you what he said. But they never let the American people actually hear what Putin says. And they do this with a lot of adversaries of the United States. That's kind of the MO there. Yeah, but you can understand if you're a government official in league with the corporate media, that now there's someone that's outside of your realm of influence, and they might actually be able to get out information that they don't want you to hear. I don't know. We'll have to see. Is this going to be a total softball interview? Will Tucker Carlson actually have some hard questions for President Putin? Tune in to find out. I'm looking forward to it, though. Yeah. Anyway, let us. Yeah. And if anyone could go over to X, because right now it says 0 viewers on X. I would just be interested if anyone could put in something there. I'm going to try out I'll just say LFG. Okay, that did come through. So I can also get a live chat from X as well. So I'm seeing all the live chat. You can't see it because I got to figure out how to do that too. But anyway, that's kind of the story about that's going on with Tucker. I'll have more to say about that after the interview. It's kind of surprising that everyone's losing their mind before they even know the content of the interview. It could be a really good interview. So let's find out what's happening. Next up, I guess we gotta touch on what happened in Nevada. Do. All right. Nikki. In the Nevada Republican presidential primary, Nikki Haley faced a setback as GOP voters overwhelmingly chose none of these candidates over her. Now, despite not competing, Trump remains focused on future caucuses. Haley's campaign downplayed the results, citing Nevada's perceived bias. The none of these candidates option has historical significance in Nevada politics. In the Democratic primary, Biden easily won. Now, this is kind of a non-story, to be honest. You can't really dance on Nikki Haley's grave on this one because it's a very odd thing that happens in Nevada with their caucus. And I think this is kind of a non-story. It's kind of funny, right, that none of the above won. But it's kind of a history of that. That's happened throughout the years as well. So don't think that this is actually a sign really of anything. I don't think you can draw any conclusions from this primary, especially, or from this caucus. Trump wasn't in it. So it was Nikki and then none, and none got more than Nikki. But if Fox News makes a big deal about this story, it's not a big story. It's really not a big story. The big story is what's going to happen in South Carolina later this month. That's going to be an actual story. So next up, now I think this guy was an Oklahoma guy. But I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure. I thought he was from Oklahoma, but probably should have checked. Anyway, Toby Keith, country singer-songwriter known for hits like Should Have Been a Cowboy, passed away at 62. He gained fame in the 90s, later becoming known for his patriotic songs, notably courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. Despite controversy surrounding his political views, he was recognized for his songwriting, earning inductions into the Songwriters Hall of Fame and the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. So I don't know if you know Toby Keith. Why is... Come on. There we go. The number of hits this guy had was insane. The number of number one hits he had is mind-blowing. I don't know off the top of my head, but I mean, he had like 24, maybe 30 number one hits. Absolutely incredible. In many ways, a lot of Toby Keith stuff seemed to be kind of cliche, and funny, but in many ways that's, I don't know. I'm not going to call it a guilty pleasure because I think it's just a pleasure, right? But I like some of the fun country songs that are just going on old themes or are just kind of ridiculous stereotypes. I enjoy it. I enjoy those kind of wholesome, fun songs. Toby Keith was great at them. And yeah, I think if you just pull up a playlist of his hits, you're going to be shocked how many there are. I think we lost a great entertainer and someone that was ahead of the curve on patriotism. I think originally, back then after 9/11 and, his, fighting with the Dixie Chicks and the kind of over the top patriotic songs. At the time that I wasn't that into that. I was kind of turned off by that stuff. And in hindsight now, years later, I've come around to really liking them, really liking those songs a lot more than I did when they came out, when they were released. Probably because I'm not the same person I was from 20 years ago. And you're probably not the same person you were 20 years ago either. I don't think I'm the same person I was 3 years ago. So we all, we should all mature and we should be able to change our points of view. And I totally changed my point of view on Toby Keith. Now, totally changed my point of view. And I'm sad that he's not going to be putting out any more music, but that's kind of greedy because he's had, like I say, he's probably had 30 number one hits or something insane like that. So, yeah, if you're around Spotify sometime today, put on a Toby Keith playlist and reevaluate, whether or not you like that kind of stuff. That's my thing. Anyway, next up, the robots, they're coming for everything. Everything. Come on. There we go. Boom. Do, 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 do. Okay. Robots cutting grass. By the way, on a side note, do you say cutting grass or mowing the lawn? What do you say? When I grew up in New Mexico, everyone cut the grass. And in other parts of the country, everyone mows the lawn. But you don't mow the grass and you don't cut the lawn for whatever reason. Those are just the terms that we use. I still say cut the grass, but occasionally mow the lawn doesn't sound that off now. It did when I moved to Oregon. When someone says, "Oh, I'm going to mow the lawn," that just sounded like, "Wait, mow the lawn?" I don't know. Anyway, Electric Sheep has introduced AI-driven robotic lawnmowers designed to operate independently, freeing up landscaping crews for other tasks. These mowers are equipped with advanced features like semantical awareness of their environment and stereo cameras for obstacle avoidance. They're primarily deployed in commercial settings such as campuses and parks, offering quiet and eco-friendly operation, while they're intended to complement human labor rather than replace it. Their precision and efficiency make them valuable assets in lawn maintenance. So, yeah, they're coming for your lawn mowing jobs. I think we're really going to be shocked at how quickly AI and automation and robots really take over things. But if they can come in and just mow lawns, and I know that they do make these things for home. Now, the ones that I looked up online, if you got one for your yard, because I was like, that would be great. I would love it if I had essentially a Roomba, right, for the yard. That'd be awesome. But the ones that have cameras and do it all, they're like $1,500 to start. It's not cheap, not cheap. So I don't think that I will be getting one quite yet, but I think they're just going to get cheaper and cheaper and better and better. And who knows, maybe you will have one too very soon. So, yeah, what do you think about that? Would you be into that? I would definitely be into that. And if you had one, what a great way to get into the lawn business, right? Because you could just drop one off, have it do the lawn, and come back and pick it up, right? Easy way to make that money. Anyway, we got to have some good news. So I do have some good news. As soon as I can get this mouse to work, I'll tell you about the good news of the day. So 5 years after being fired from Saturday Night Live before appearing on the show due to controversy over his past use of offensive language, comedian Shane Gillis has been selected to host the struggling comedy show on February 24th. Now, despite initial backlash, Gillis has continued to embrace his controversial persona, which means, talking like a regular person, and push boundaries in his comedy. His Netflix special reached #1, showcasing his appeal to a broader audience beyond traditional gatekeepers. This move signals a shift away from strict adherence to progressive doctrine and toward a more tolerant approach to comedy. Other instances, such as support for Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan, indicate a growing acceptance of diverse viewpoints in entertainment. Well, this is a big deal. Wow, I was able to just get right behind the camera, right behind the graphic. I don't know. Anyway, this is kind of a big deal. Shane Gillis is hilarious. He was originally he was hired on SNL kind of in peak cancel culture. They went through some podcasts that he'd done. And there were some jokes that were offensive. Shouldn't any comedian, for the most part, have jokes that are offensive? Good luck trying to be funny without offending someone. Yeah, he's gone on, and that was probably the best thing that could have happened to him, right? Getting fired from SNL before he was even on camera. He's gone on to do his specials. You can see his sketches, which are all great. His comedy special on Netflix, all of his appearances on so many different podcasts. He's a hilarious guy. So he was brave, and in the cancel culture, rather than kowtowing to everything, he just said, no, I'll just keep doing me. And now he's a rich guy, and he'll be hosting Saturday Night Live. So that was probably the best thing that could have happened to him. He wouldn't be hosting Saturday Night Live had he not been fired years ago. So to me, that's some good news. And it's also an example that, the gatekeepers, try as they might, if you're good enough, you'll make it. And that's inspirational to me as well. Anyway, I'll go through all your comments. I guess I'll hit the bumper even though there's no music, but what the heck. Anyway, I will be back as soon as I can. I'm going to be doing more tests to see, hopefully, if I can get all the audio and video working. But I am actually really thrilled that I'm able to stream in HD to multiple sources. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. But we still got a lot of things to figure out. Anyway, I'll read all your comments after this, and otherwise, I will see you next time, definitely on Friday for a Fact Check Friday, if not before then. So until then, peace. Yeah. So, because of the way things are, I don't know how to get the chat up. That's something else I have to figure out, how to get the chat on screen, but I'll go through it. I really appreciate everyone coming in. Yeah, okay. So at the beginning, you were telling me that the audio wasn't working, and so I switched it to just the microphone, and I got to do some troubleshooting and figure out why the other thing wasn't working, but we'll get there. Thanks for the compliment on the shirt. What's up, Ox, over on Rumble? Thumbnail of democracy spreading fireworks. I like that. I like those emojis, Ox. Very nice. Okay, so I think the echo was just at the beginning when I was doing some settings. I'll have to go back and listen to it and see how it goes. But yeah, here's my Texas mug. Don't mess with Texas. There was some news about the border. I guess there was a secret deal that was hatched between the Biden administration and AMLO, right? The Andres, let's see if I can remember, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, right? I think that was his name. Current president of Mexico. That we would secretly give him lots and lots of money if he could kind of slow down the border a bit. And so when we saw the numbers for January, it did go down a lot. So we'll probably get some more information on that soon. That was just something I read this morning. Yeah, a month in Argentina. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'll check out the castor oil for my eye. I'll definitely check that out. Interesting. And I am looking forward to the Tucker interview. I think there's no way he puts it behind a paywall. I think this is something that he wants all of America to see. So I don't think it's going to be behind a paywall for that. But yeah, you should be able to see that on X. In fact, Elon said that he would welcomed putting it on X. So if the legacy outlets, this is Alan Durrell, if the legacy outlets would interview Putin, they would probably edit the interviews to suit their narrative, and they probably wouldn't ask good questions. Wouldn't surprise me why they didn't get a chance. Yeah, that's it. You know, it's like they do these interviews and then they chop them up and they don't let you see the whole thing. If there's things that Putin says that they don't want out there, they just don't put out that part of the interview. Well, after doing that so many times, I mean, right? How many times? It's Lucy with the football, right? How many times are you going to go for it before you realize I can't trust you? So, yeah. Ox says, if he said no one has bothered to interview, it sounds like he was implying they didn't try. I agree. I agree with that. I think he phrased that incorrectly. But again, how would you know? Also. So I wouldn't have made that statement. I think that Tucker made a mistake when he made that statement. But in many ways, this could be like 3D chess. He could have intentionally said something like that wrong. Okay, so think about this. Tucker wants as many people to see this interview as possible. So he announces that nobody else bothered to interview Putin, so that now the entire media can tell their audience, oh my God, Tucker's interviewing Putin and he's already lying. We tried to interview him and we didn't get it. So I don't know. I can't read minds, but making a kind of small error like that to get everybody outraged, to draw attention to what you're doing, not a bad play. It's not a bad play at all. Europeans on X are so mad at this, they want Tucker arrested and sanctioned. Yeah, there's a lot of that. I know you could sing the bumper, Tom. Yeah. Jesse says, X or Twitter live streams are the worst platform. They take up the whole phone with no ability to switch to picture-in-picture, so you can't do anything else on the phone. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know that. I do like, I'm looking at it though. I have Twitter open here on a browser. It looks very good. Looks really, really crisp. It's a great picture. Other than this, other than having my menu bar, I got to figure that out too. Wow, nice to hear you admit to coming around, Tom. I wish more people would come around, and sooner rather than later. You know, we're all on our own time frames, and I think it would be such a boring life if I had all the same opinions I had when I was a teenager. I think, how boring would that be, right? Hopefully we grow and we learn, and we have different opinions. You know, it's so funny. It kind of seems like it's flipped. I've talked to a couple people about this recently. It's like they used to love Jon Stewart, and Tucker Carlson was a big jerk, right? And now I know a number of people that are like, yeah, that's what I used to think. And now Jon Stewart seems to be a total tool, and now Tucker Carlson seems to be someone doing really good work. They flipped. I think a lot of people feel that way. Robots took our jobs. Exactly. I like the smell of cut grass, but not the smell of mown lawn. Yeah, what would be the past tense of something that has been mowed? Would it be mowed or mown? Mown. You can get some funny puns with that. Mow the lawn, cut the grass. I use either one. I actually like doing it, even though it's work. Well, Jesse, please come over because I need to cut the grass before I take off next week. And it's tricky because it's been raining. You can't really cut the grass in the rain. So, and it's even tricky even when it's not raining. When it's really, really wet, it's also tricky to do that. Natasha says, I like the old-fashioned rotary mowers. No gas exhaust fumes or motor noise. Better workout. It might be a good workout, but I've tried it. I had a little push mower, but just didn't work for me. I think if you have one of those push mowers, you really have to have the blades nice and sharp. And probably the one I hadn't been sharpened in a decade or something, and it just didn't work out for me. So Jesse says, I still push with the Toro mower. Haven't gotten one you can sit on and ride. And on my budget so far, even though I have a lot big enough. Yeah, and that's the thing is, you know, you get a mower, and then you got one that they take up space, you know, especially the riding mowers. My yard is, I could use a riding mower for my yard. But how much of the garage would it take up, right? You know? Well, Jesse says, I bought the hand pushing one. It can cut nice, but gets stuck on the smallest twig. And if you have no debris, it works great. Yeah. No, I have lots of things that fall into my yard from trees, you know, and that's another thing. Natasha says, we've got a huge yard, and the riding mower quit when I was when I was with child, so I had to use a push mower, even though it was hard to reach the handles with the big belly in between. I can see that. You shouldn't be out pushing a mower when you're pregnant. That's not it. Maybe Putin's declined interviews by folks he doesn't trust. That's what I would guess, Right? Why would you do an interview with someone that lies about you on a nightly basis? I get it. Forrest Walker says, agreed, Tucker has the most down-to-earth ideas any of the major talking heads have these days. That's kind of my thought on that as well. And it's funny because I think that we need to allow people to change. Okay, and if you think of Tucker as the same guy that wore the bow tie on Crossfire on CNN 2 decades ago, he's not the same guy. Now, maybe there are people from 20 years ago that are the same, right? We know many people like that in our own lives. They just don't seem to change at all. But those are the boring people. And if you recognize that you've changed, I think you need to extend that courtesy to other people as well. So I've extended it to Tucker. You know, I read his book a couple of years ago, and I read it thinking that I was going to really criticize it. And I read it, and I was like, wow, I kind of agree with most of the stuff in this. Is this the same guy? Is this the same guy? So, yeah, if you've changed, you should allow other people that same courtesy so that maybe they've changed as well. So perhaps you need to reevaluate what you think of certain people, especially people in the media. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I am going to keep on testing out this equipment. I tell you, even though I wasn't able to get the music to work, and even though, you know, I got this thing at the top of my screen that I can't seem to get away from, I'm really happy that it's in HD and we've had no hiccups, no buffering, none of that. So I see that as a real positive. So it's going to be even better next time. Will you be live streaming from your phone while away? I don't know if you've discussed this. I'm not going to be streaming from my phone. No, that's why I switched to my laptop to try to learn how to stream from my laptop so that I can take my laptop with me and my equipment with me so that I can do shows from Argentina, because I figure at night after typically when I go somewhere, like when I went to Mexico City or when I went to Medellin, Colombia, I do a lot of walking, and I walk like 30,000 steps a day, just going around exploring the city and just whatnot. So after dinner, I'm pretty much done. And so I figure I can come back and stream. I chose an Airbnb specifically because they have very high-speed internet, and I double-checked this before I booked it. So I should have faster internet than I have here in the U.S. In developing countries, why can they have better internet than I can get here in Portland, right? At a fraction of the cost. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm hoping to even stream more when I'm down there in Argentina. I don't know. I'll just have to see how it goes. But that's why I've been spending this time to try to figure out how I can stream on multiple platforms, do it all from my laptop. That's the plan, so that I can do it from anywhere. That's the goal. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'll definitely be back on Friday for a Fact Check Friday. I'll probably do some test streams in between. See if we can get the music and see if I can get rid of that. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Hope you all have an awesome day. Until next time, peace. And here's the end bumper, without the music.